Good morning, welcome back to Fujitsu Forum TV, where we continue to bring you live and exclusive coverage of day 2 at Fujitsu Forum 2019. Our commitment to you stays the same. We're exploring the key challenges boardrooms and society are facing right now, because technology has the wonderful ability to address so many of those problems and moreover unlock great value. One of the headaches for boardrooms and governments right now comes from cybersecurity. Viewers from last year will recall we were talking about the cost of cybercrime being a staggering $610 billion. Well, surely that's only increased over the last 12 months. More needs to be done to actually protect us against vulnerabilities. It doesn't all have to be sort of scary stuff. There are basics that you can get right, but there's some wonderful technology to help you on the way. And with me to make sense of all of that, I'm delighted to say we're joined by Steve Pye, the Enterprise and Cybersecurity SOAR Technical Lead. We'll come on to what SOAR is in a moment, because it's a proper game changer in technology within security, I know. For the benefit of viewers, we're going to send our roaming camera around to your SOC in the box so they can see what attendees at Forum get to view. We'll put the pictures up on the plasma screen, Steve. Perhaps you can tell us exactly what is the SOC and what's happening inside it.
Cool, yeah. So we decided that we wanted to be able to showcase some of the capability of our CE region and the collaboration with Northwest Europe. So we've taken different services that we're offering in Germany from some of our GDCs and in the UK. We've combined that into our story of the past to the current offerings and where we're going to go in the future. So starting, we're looking at your AV, we're looking at traditional measures such as SIEM. We come through our advanced capabilities, reverse engineering and malware. And then we're looking at how those attacks happen here with threat intelligence before we go on to actually what responses can we make? Can we take that data that an analyst is currently working on and craft an automated response where we can solve a solution without a human actually needing to be involved?
I'm actually surprised we've managed to bring those pictures, because that's a metal box. So I don't know a great deal about science, but I remember being taught about Faraday's cage, so I'm surprised we got the pictures out. This is obviously just a mini version of the bigger SOCs that you have around the Fujitsu business. Talk to us about SOAR. I'm really interested in this. We've been hearing a lot over the last day and a half about automation, the confusion around, is it doing away with human jobs? I think SOAR is an interesting example of how automation has a positive impact within business, correct?
Yeah, so one of the things we're starting to see is the attacks are increasing. We're getting more and more attacks of increasing complexity, but also you're getting those traditional attacks. You saw on the SOC in the box, we had a screen. Within a day of setting up a server, there was 750,000 attacks on there. So when you think of that across a company, when they've got thousands of machines out there, they've got different capabilities that they're implementing, the number of attacks, the number of different intrusion attempts onto the network just is increasing rapidly. So we're seeing that humans can't really cope. So we're having to look at, actually, what can we automate? Can we detect these known processes? Can we follow those steps through and make sure that the computer can do the heavy lifting for us, really? We're able to then shift the human away from clicking and retrieving data and saying, well, actually, what's this alert, to having the computer analyze that data and then retrieve something to allow the human just to make a decision instead of collecting the data to make the decision. Increases the amount that we can get through, and we can actually start to look at closing some of it off with automation in its own right. So,
just how important is it to be able to release analysts to go and do more of the more important stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, it's key. So we've stood up the Advanced Threat Center in the United Kingdom. So we were the traditional SOC, we were dealing with sort of the feeding and watering of the normal services, but now we're actually sort of stepping towards threat hunting, endpoint detect and respond. You cannot have a computer do that at this stage. They can help you and they can guide you, but you need those human analysts. You need that brain trust model where you're actually saying, let's make this human make a decision. If they're caught up dealing with traditional alerts, you know, something's come through on a SIEM or a AV, then we can't spend their time as well. So SOAR should be freeing those up to allow them to learn and increase their capability, but actually go hunt for those threats and not just wait on IOCs that are coming or indicators of compromise that are coming through, but focus on tactics, techniques and procedures where we're seeing how's the attacker behaving and what sort of footprint they leave when it's not actually just specific IP addresses or maybe email addresses that you can follow. It's more a behavioural pattern. So.
One of the reasons I love doing this job on Fujitsu Forum TV is hearing about the innovation. And I think I'm right in saying SOAR, you're one of the first in industry introducing SOAR, correct?
Yeah, so a couple of the different vendors are sort of starting to put levels of automation in, and companies are really seeing that for their security offerings that they've got to increase the API. But speaking to a number of the like Gartner, companies like that at the start of the year, they were saying that we were one of the first MSSPs that were looking at rolling out SOAR as a service and SOAR as an offering. So we've been looking at this for a couple of years now. We feel we've really gained the experience that we need to take it out to the industry. And speaking to some of the people around Forum, actually, the interest in it's really been piqued. So
I imagine there's be some viewers looking at this thinking, okay, that makes sense. We need to find out a bit more about SOAR. How do they go about getting in contact with you? And is there information online that they can be looking at around SOAR?
Yeah, so they can contact the ISM, or they can, so if they've got a security manager, they can go straight to them.
Yep.
They can go to our Twitter feeds of any of our online portals. We've got our offerings are out there. And obviously, if you're here at Forum, you can pop over to the Sock in the Box, and I'll walk you through demonstrations, show you playbooks, and talk about it to my heart's content. So, yeah. Further than that, email anyone that you know.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. Security's hot topic, isn't it? But there's some interesting technology to help you on your journey to minimizing those vulnerabilities that you undoubtedly face. I still remember the great quote from last year. There's only two types of customers: those that know they've had a security threat and those that don't. I thought that was really interesting, probably still the same today. Next, we're going to talk diversity and inclusion. This is another key topic for boardrooms. We're going to be exploring just why you should have a diversity and inclusion and strategy, and also we're going to hear about the great work that's going on at Fujitsu. There's some brilliant people that are committed to doing some great things here. That one's coming up at 9:30, so about 22 minutes time. Stay with us, plenty more to come from Fujitsu Forum TV.